Where's the music? Where's the music? All right. All right. All right. All right. Bringing it in like Matthew McConaughey this morning. Curiosity. Freedom of questioning with Nancy and Kitty Foss. Wow. Right? Like, holy shit. Welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom, where we pause, we reflect, and we remember who we are becoming. I'm Nancy Nance.
And I'm
And I'm
Kitty
so
Foss.
glad that Kitty's here with me.
Yep.
Yay! Oh my God. Everyone asks me if I've got a pet. I'm like, nah, I got a kitty. As always, I'm joined by the beautiful, intuitive, wise, and wonderfully curious Kitty Foss. Oh my God.
So it's always interesting because this was so fast when we're like, what are we talking about? I'm like, curiosity. It is so much about this unfolding and becoming who we are. And to look at questioning as a freedom. As we are taking on centuries old things that have been taught to suppress us, to I've been deep diving recently in the number 666.
Well, and you know what? It's like it's curiosity is such a powerful doorway. Like you shut the front door, 666. Tell me more.
Well, 666 is, supposedly this demon number, and it kind of turns out that it's really the code of who we are as humans, not demons. And what better way to literally suppress the enlightenment, the kingdom of source, God is within. And
well, you know
what better way to suppress it than to say, oh, the code is bad.
Absolutely.
Look outside of the code, right?
Absolutely, right? And if we could go back further into pagan, I'd be really interested for that. I've been looking a lot more into the paganism, the Viking aspect of things. So if anybody knows anything about that, let me know. Because when I was an 80s girl, I listened to Iron Maiden. Number of the Beast, 666. I'm sure that was Iron Maiden. Again, any of my Iron Maiden fans out there, let me know, right?
Well, it is the beast. It's the beast of who we are becoming. It is the beast of humanness. The pyramid is not about hierarchy. It's about being at the base and realizing it's all one. From the source to the base, source is within us. It's really interesting. If you're a scholar out there, take a look at the Ethiopian Bible. Same Thomas, Enoch. They fiercely, and the Freemasons, by the way, based a lot of things off the Ethiopian Bible, which is really interesting because that's
Ethiopian Enoch, because we've got a reservation out here, the Enoch Reserve, and I thought Enoch was a corresponding word with Metatron.
It is, but all of this in the Freemasons, the book of Enoch was a book of the Bible at one time. Look at the Ethiopian Bible. Like here's a great example of this. The word forgiveness.
Yes.
It was translated as forgiveness going to repair, when in actuality, it really was about um, respecting and
Hmm.
moving forward as opposed to going back and trying to make it be okay. It's literally about the acknowledgement and the movement forward from it.
Respecting and moving forward. So fuck
Mhm.
you. Thank you for being an asshole. Peace out. I'm out of here.
Well, I realize what you're doing. That is I'm still moving forward from it. I don't have to give you any tie to it. It's not
Oh,
about making it be okay. It is about the idea that forgiveness is about not having power. And so starting to question, that's why we're talking about this, the
well,
freedom of questioning. How many things have we taken as the way we are, 666, the translation of the Bible, that really were not even subtle manipulations, literally manipulations. The Book of Thomas completely removed from the Bible.
it's
And
gone. It's
right,
gone.
and Thomas says and quotes Jesus, and that's also in Mary Magdalene's work,
Yes.
the
Yes,
kingdom
we
of
studied
God
that.
is within. Um,
Mhm.
Yeshua, Jesus, never really, pretty much, it's obvious from the other books, intended to be worshipped. He's not a doorway. He was the embodiment of how you connect into it.
Well,
And
and it's so interesting because I remember someone asked me just yesterday how long I've been at this. And I said, over 25 years. I remember reading Sylvia Browne before Sylvia Browne was even close to mainstream,
mhm.
just devouring her books, having some idea as to what the temples within were like so that I could envision that.
Well, it's interesting because if you ask me that question, I'd say probably my whole life, the questioning part.
Right? And like, and then Spirit's bringing me in the puppet lady too. We've talked about her before.
The
She
puppet,
had the
like, you talking about lamb chop?
lamb chop. Yeah.
Um, oh my God, I'm going to space Sherry. Oh my God, no, now I got to look it up. Um, but lamb chop.
Lamb chop, because she wrote the book about El Camino.
Say more about that.
So El Camino being the journey, right? And when we're looking at the hero's journey, there is such a huge understanding of that. And once we begin to understand the masculine and the feminine within the hero's journey, we get the left and the right. And the understanding that it is a heart, like it's that whole, I heart you kind of thing. Because once we understand how we are both, then we can see where we're overcompensating and undercompensating.
Sherry Lewis. Um, and I knew it was Sherry, but I couldn't, the last name was eluding me. Right. We are both. And until our insides match our outsides and our outsides match our insides,
Yep.
we're spending a lot more time looking at people's outsides and seeing if it really matches their insides at the moment, which that's part of the
Mhm,
curiosity.
mhm.
Um, the oneness, the sourceness lives in and fractions. And a lot of what we're learning to deal with is not accepting that we are fractionalized, that we are everything lives in duality. Here's this Gemini venture now into the chaos.
Mhm.
But what we talk about in Gemini, and when I do readings, I talk about this, is the gift of Gemini, the challenge of Gemini is how do I live in the middle at the point they meet, the energy of the point that they meet in this duality. So I can stand and see both and make my choice from there.
Mm.
And in this quest for wholeness, in this question not to be hierarchy, caste system, all of those things, it was just really interesting reading about six. Six is a galactic number. 666 is literally a pattern composition. 18 becomes nine. Nine
Yes.
is the final, the transformation, the completeness. Again, it is the matching. And it's really kind of fascinating. Like I said, when you start to look at how things have been translated, the power of words, um,
Mhm.
using using different words um, becomes a colossal aha freedom of questioning. Wait a minute. Is
Yes.
that what I am accepting? You
Well,
know,
because somewhere along the way, many of us were taught to not question, not to challenge, not to wonder, not to trust our own knowing.
right. Here's the rule. You may question people who don't follow this rule.
Yep.
Like, you know,
Yep.
I was very fortunate, and I sometimes don't know if it really happened. Um, in second grade, it was a teacher that I really, Sister Michaeletta, and then later she became Sister Diane. Um,
Mm, mm,
and I don't really know if she said this, but I did hear this. So
mm,
do with that what you want. Um, where she said, your soul, and that's the voice inside you, knows what's right and wrong and really is your guide. And it doesn't matter what, if you're doing this, what other people tell you is right and wrong,
yeah.
if inside you're not listening to that voice. That voice will always guide you. And I remember thinking, well, that makes sense. And from that moment on, that was, what was I, 7? 6?
Isn't
Yeah,
it beauty? Because it's beauty because healing begins the moment we ask, why? Why
why?
do I feel this way? Why am I repeating this pattern? Why does this no longer fit? And why am I afraid to choose differently? Curiosity is not rebellion.
Mm-mm. No, it's actually knowledge. The fifth agreement, he says, be skeptical. I like be curious
Mm,
and learn to
mhm.
listen. Um, Listening to yourself, as soon as I am telling you why somebody's saying something, I've gone off the path of me. I have really no idea why they're saying it. I can take a guess. I
Yeah,
can, well, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that is the connection is,
Curiosity is sometimes survival.
yes. Hmm.
Survival, basic need.
Yeah.
What will happen if I choose this? What will happen if I choose that? It's like driving a car and changing lanes. It's
Why
survival.
do I feel I need to make this choice? Like
Yes.
what's the freedom of questioning our starting with ourselves,
Yeah.
you
'Cause
know?
it's a damn pain in the ass to carry everything around with us. The casket full of dead bodies that we're not willing to bury.
Yeah. It's interesting about questioning. I have a story from another teacher who, now this was 11th grade. His name was Mr. Cannell. And if you're out there, Mr. Cannell, you were young, you still could be around. Um, and he told a story of the draft. And
Okay.
he was in this country, ROTC, which is reserve. I don't know what it stands for. Basically, it's and high schools and colleges have it. Basically, you're kind of getting ready to go into the military.
Okay.
And it was the Vietnam War, so that's his age. And it was during they did a lottery. Here's a little American history. They did a lottery and they assigned numbers by birth dates, and certain numbers were guaranteed to go. There was the middle of the year, you may go, you may not go, and then there was a
Wow.
you're
Why
not.
does this sound like the Hunger Games? Keep
Yeah.
going.
Mhm. Oh, remind me about that because I do have another piece of that.
Okay.
Um, so he was in the middle to the end. So somebody he was going through a protest, and he was very kind of military about it. And the man said something, and he goes, "I'm Rotzi." And the guy looked at him and goes, "Well, I hope you don't have to die for that," and walked away. And that statement was the first time he said, I questioned, wait a minute, do I want to die? Am I willing to die for this? The question, because he questioned his reaction because he started to get mad. Why am I so mad? And he just said, and so I always have remembered that story about, oh, wait a minute, when I question my beliefs and am I coming from the place of oneness? If I've got a whole lot of anger and things around that, is that a pure assessment, or do I have some other rule that is happening with me? Now, there's some horrible things that happen. It's not to say I'm not angry at them. But if I'm like this angry, wait a minute, what is being activated in me? It's interesting. So here's one. You've heard about the whole thing about the Simpsons predictions, right?
Yes. Yes.
Here's a curiosity. What if they're not predictions, but they were a plan? That the looking at the people who are writers for the Simpsons, looking at the people who are connected, including the head of Disney, NBC, the one, or it's not NBC, Fox, who is in the files that shall not be named. What if in this kind of Freemason energy, and not saying the Freemasons are, but the same idea that this is hidden society, they literally wrote these scripts, and if you put it out there enough, it can be created. What if it's the opposite? Not a prediction, but a plan.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Be curious. Be curious.
So I love that Why So Serious, that Batman, with the Joker. And last night, Ralph and I are channel surfing and coming back to America. And there was a man I will not name, crazy mofo. There's a Netflix series about him, and he killed women, 2 namedly. And when he got incarcerated, he tattooed like a smile and like this whole thing going on. He's still on death row because it's been appealed and appealed and appealed. And there are people who, like, he almost got almost 100, no, it was almost a fucking $1 million in crowdfunding. Like, Ralph and I are watching this, and these women that are like, I'm gonna marry him. Now I'm gonna marry him. Like, are you batshit crazy? His cellmate got the same tattoo. And this is where, when you start looking at the reflection of mind, what side of the equation are you on, right? Curiosity is deeply spiritual. It's not just mental, it's intuitive. It's the whisper that says, there's more here, look deeper. And when we stop asking questions, we stop growing. And when we stay curious, we allow expansion, we allow truth, we allow possibility.
Right. It is a freedom, the freedom of questioning. And it starts with ourselves. Why am I reacting this way? The work of, and now I'm going to space her name, Byron Katie.
Yeah.
Is all about questioning. Do I really know that's true?
Are you sure?
That's one of the things I say to my students and over the years is I look at them and I'll say, that was just a yes or no question. And they'll go, what? That's just a yes or no question. Is it yes? Is it no? Yeah, I don't need to know the reasons. But if it's yes, then there's the question. If it's no, there's the questioning. So we start with the decision. Yes.
Curiosity feels uncomfortable, often for the receiver.
Right.
Because questioning often means disturbing what's familiar. It means looking at relationships, beliefs, patterns, identity. It means asking, is this mine or was this handed to me?
Well, and curiosity in its freedom allows you to see things from a different perspective. Concept I got just yesterday, I find fascinating. Weaponizing your mood. People that weaponize their mood to control others. Now, I don't know if I've never heard the concept before, but until I've gotten to this point where I can question about my reaction to other people, can I see, there are people that weaponize their mood. And it kind of is already shifted where I can go,
Isn't that interesting? Right?
You're weaponizing your mood. I don't need to participate in this.
Absolutely. Are you part of the problem or the solution? I am the problem. Right? Like,
I used to say that was something I discovered later in my teaching. I would, especially with some of the 3rd and 4th graders, I would look at them and say, problem or solution? Your behavior right now, problem or solution?
Yeah.
for you and for everybody else. Oh, it's a problem. What can you do to become part of the solution? Not you're being bad. What can you be to be part of the solution if it's a problem? How do I generate a solution
Yeah.
to that? Exactly what you're saying. But it's a fascinating when you come upon, for me, that concept. I was raised by a person that weaponized his mood. Oh, don't get dad upset.
Yes, yes, that was me. That was me with my ex-husband. And you know, when you start saying, "Am I living my truth or someone else's expectations?" That takes courage.
Yes, it does. But it takes curiosity as to, wait a minute, why is that so important that they don't be in a bed? It's not about me. That's their mood. They get to own that.
Compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Compassion can be with because curiosity without compassion can become judgment, but curiosity with compassion becomes wisdom. It's what allows us to explore without shame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do I have the inside of what I match the outside and the outside match the inside? And it is in that, you know, it's one of the tools being trying to be used right now. Let's fractionalize everybody and have them turn on each other when it's really not about that at all. You do
Yeah.
you, boo. I love that term. You do you, boo.
To you. And you know, to say, I wonder why I react like this instead of what is wrong with me.
Right. Because when I say what is wrong with me, I'm doing that to other people too. What's wrong with them?
Yes.
I wonder, you know, I wonder why they have such a strong belief around this.
Oh, that's powerful.
Hmm.
That's powerful. You know what? Because freedom lives there. The
Yep.
freedom to question, change your mind, choose differently. The freedom to say
Disconnect, connect. Yep.
this no longer aligns, and I'm allowed to outgrow it. It's not failure; it's evolution.
Right. You know, people that I don't want to spend as much time with. I'm curious why. And yet when I spend the time, it's because it's more difficult for me. And I have to own, I don't really want to be whatever it is, and then not judge myself for. I don't want to be around difficult people for me, you know?
Right? And curiosity helps us trust ourselves again, especially after seasons when we've ignored our intuition. Curiosity invites us back softly, patiently, without force.
Hmm. Freedom to quest. That's true freedom. When they broke down the how people survive things like the Holocaust. Yes, it was real. Um, those kinds of things. Um, I wonder why people want to deny that it happened.
I don't
Uh,
understand that. I don't understand that any more than I don't understand why we say, "Oh, she wasn't on that bus."
yeah,
Like,
right,
I guess the stock market didn't fucking crash either. Sunshine,
right.
the famine, right? Like all of those realities. And when you take it again back to your own, when was my life filled with scarcity? When was I um, not welcomed in an
Mhm,
environment? When did I take away from others? When
right.
didn't I welcome other people, right? Like we're talking about powerful questions.
Power. And if you want to question whether it happened, do your research. Not find people to,
Oh, rah,
um,
rah, 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 rah.
I mean, I grew up with a father um, who lived in occupied Amsterdam when the Germans had invaded. He saw people killed. He saw people taken away. He was only a couple streets away from where Anne Frank was hiding. And
Mhm.
so,
My uncle stood in front of the firing squad and then stopped. One person pulled out. It was him.
yep. It, it's, I get that you're questioning and perhaps questioning certain versions, but what the truth for me is, what are you questioning? That mankind can do that? Because part of the freedom of questioning is to look at the answers with
Hmm.
discernment.
What are you afraid to question? What
Right.
truth have you been avoiding? Where in your life are you being called to get curious instead of staying comfortable? Because curiosity is not chaos. It is clarity.
Right. And sometimes you walk away going, I may never really understand this. I'm just going to go with what I've learned about my questioning.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the
and this,
bottom of that mathematical equation on the board. I did not enjoy that. Standing in front of the board with that piece of fucking chalk because I had chalk, right? Like I didn't get whiteboard. Bam, I had chalk. And just that terrifying feeling where, and the teacher's just like, I stuck, so he'd come underneath. I get a little bit stuck. And at the end, I'm like, oh, 4.
mhm, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, it's a freedom to question, and there's the choice too. Why am I needing to question it? Because of my own reaction to something. Something listening to that voice that my second grade nun talked about.
Mhm.
There's a reason why it's sitting, there's a reason why I'm so angry. There's a reason. It doesn't mean I don't have anger, but what other vein has it connected into? Um, it
Mhm.
is a true be curious and learn to listen. That's the other piece. Be
And the learning to listen is beautiful because, like, for me, when I was a kid in school, the ants go marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. I learned things with rhythm and pattern. It was like that movie Bee, the one with the
Oh
spelling
yeah,
bee,
somebody in the bee.
somebody in the bee, Aquila
Yeah,
and the bee.
I
Because
can't
for
in the bee.
me, it's very much ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. Music, spelling, even grammar, all of it is patterning for me. I really know that now.
Hmm.
Structure. And for me, it's funny because we've done my charts many times. And for me, it's that structure of spirit gives me stuff and I go for it. And then I'm like, wait, oh, there's my friend Kitty going, okay, so the have we got some sort of a plan?
Yeah.
We were talking about that before we got on the standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
Step 1.
Step one.
Yeah.
And it's funny because step one is B, and the circle comes all the way around to B, B, E.
B. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, it's Bananas.
Hmm.
This shit is bananas. Bananas. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And why? Why does my mind go in that direction? How can I work with it? Like when, the curiosity, who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the TikTok videos. I have a lot of fun with TikTok videos, and I love the sign language ones. Luckily, I can only use one hand so that I can't do the other one, um, because it's twat, and I just get such a chuckle out of that. Like, oh my god, I have way too much fun with that. Way too much. And my coworker at work is now understanding my. She's like, boss comes in and I'm making twat waffle signs. Like it's great.
Yeah. You know, you have to be.
Yeah.
We have to match inside and outside. So
Thank you so much for joining us for Wednesday Wisdom. Like this is just a blast.
I
If
really enjoy this
Oh
this
my god,
little pause. Yeah.
I do. If this conversation spoke to you, share it with someone who may need the reminder. Stay curious, stay open, stay in your truth, and as always, choose joy.
Choose joy.
See you next Wednesday.